and welcome back to The Hardest Job Ever, the podcast where we talk about being new moms, unfiltered, the real.
The real. Well, we're your hosts, Purvi and Karen, and we are new moms, C-section warriors, and we're just still trying to figure out this mom shit out.
Yeah, today's episode is one we've both been wanting to talk about for a long time. It's all about our postpartum bodies, the weird, the real, and the beautiful. And yes, all three words are absolutely necessary, and that's how we intend on sort of going through today's episode.
Yeah. We're going to start with the weird shit first, because you guys know I love talking about all the weird stuff that goes on. And postpartum is filled with all the weird nonsense.
So true.
So where do we start? Should I start off with my night sweats? Yes.
Share everything. Share.
So let me just break this down for you. You have just had a baby and you're laying in bed getting your, standard hour of sleep that you get, and you wake up and you're literally dripping in sweat. When I say dripping, you walked out of a Peloton class, like a full-on spin class, and you're dripping, and you're that guy that made the puddle on the floor in your spin class. Those were my night sweats. Like, our sheets would just be completely wet and it would be so gross. And I'm gonna be real, we did not change our sheets out every night, even after my sweating episodes.
Who's got time for
Who's
that?
got time? So
We have two. Oh, that.
yeah. Did you have night sweats?
I did, but not like that.
Yeah.
Like, my shirt would be drenched, but I honestly was like, is this my milk or is this my sweat? I don't know.
Yeah, that too. The milk also just really adds in a whole nother layer to the sweating.
Well, like, you're just wet
Yeah.
for definitely the first, like, 3-4 months. Like, you just don't know.
Not
what
in
it
a
is.
good way.
Yeah.
Okay, so enough about my night sweats. What about you? What weird shit did you experience in postpartum?
My biggest thing was the hair loss. Like, I call it the great shedding.
Yeah, we
I
love
have
a great
term
shedding.
for it. Yeah. So they say that in the first 3 to 5 months or so, you and baby are exactly on the same
You are.
page. And what I mean by that is, like, your hormones plummet after having a baby, and that usually happens in the beginning, right? And so does your baby's, right? You guys come out of this world together in a sense.
Yeah,
right?
and like you birthed a baby and you're also rebirthed at the same time after having a baby, TBH.
Here I am, Karen 2.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, I am shedding my hair. I had bald spots in the front.
Yep.
And I remember, like, there was one in the back, like 1 or 2, and I was just trying to, like, I kept moving my hair, trying to cover the bald spots, and my floor of my bathroom would just be like hair everywhere. And my husband would be like, "Are you gonna, like, do this?"
You're like, no.
Well, it was disgusting. It was so disgusting. But then I remember being surprised because then I saw Layla's hair just, like, shedding too.
Yeah.
And she went from having a full head of hair to, like, nothing.
Nothing. And that's you hear about postpartum hair loss, but you don't know that your baby is also gonna go bald.
And so I'm, like, messaging the pediatrician, like, something's wrong.
Something's wrong. She has some
Going on.
deficiency.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Yes, my mom and my mother-in-law were both being like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why doesn't she have hair? And then I realized after asking the pediatrician, that's absolutely normal. And, of course, just like you have paranoia. And then other people are getting involved and sharing opinions. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But, like, I think it's important to remember, just go straight to the source of the pediatrician and not swirl around and ask, like, moms and other people. But it was insane because I do remember thinking, do I shave Layla's head off?
I thought that too.
Because there's an Indian tradition.
Yes, exactly. It's called in Gujarati it's called a babri, where they shave your head off.
Girl,
And
you know so many words.
Yes.
Wow.
And I literally was like, maybe I should just do it now. And because they're fully bald. We are not exaggerating when we said when our babies were bald.
Okay.
I have pictures. Like, they looked ugly.
Layla looked like her head was, like, attacked by a weed whacker.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fully bald.
Yeah.
Patches of hair in places.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, do I just shave her? Yes or no?
Right,
And
right.
then after talking to the pediatrician, she said this was normal, no big deal.
Yeah.
And so I let it go. And I did not do the Indian tradition of shaving her head.
We didn't either.
And, today she's got a mullet, a straight up mullet.
Yeah.
But
She does.
different story.
Yeah.
So that was the big thing that happened to me. But I think we talked about this last episode. Another major thing was postpartum anxiety.
Yes.
And so, yes, it was manifesting in my, like, daytime, but also at night. I was having insane dreams. Like, Final Destination was happening to me during the day, but at night, all this stuff would actually occur in my brain.
There is no escaping it.
Yeah.
No escaping it.
24/7 PPA, Final Destination.
What were your dreams like?
It would be like I dropped the baby was a big one.
Oh, so you would dream that you're dropping the baby.
Yes,
That
yes.
never happened to me.
Yes, I would dream that I dropped Layla and then she like wasn't moving anymore, and I'd freak out. Or that was my husband.
It's okay, Akash. You're
ruining
doing great.
our
Keep it up.
episode.
Keep it up. I wonder if Akash had any dreams. We should make him sit right here.
Yeah, maybe he should join us for a guest appearance.
Yeah.
I don't know. He got to sleep. We did not,
Yeah.
obviously. But I would say dropping the baby was what?
What?
But my husband just said that his dreams were me yelling at him,
Yeah.
and they were actually reality.
Yeah. There we go. So
They were. But I think another common one I had was so the dropping was very common. The other one was being in the car and getting in a car accident.
that's so scary.
Yeah. So I would always have that dream.
Oh my god.
And so then I was terrified of driving alone with her.
Yeah, I would be too.
But then I had to like practice.
I didn't
My
have dreams
therapist
like that.
made me like drive around the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And then drive around the neighborhood and then like go to like the coffee shop nearby and then slowly like get used to it with her in the car.
Right.
To get over these. But like the dreams were crazy and I like it would like make me
Yeah.
nervous in my daytime. So
Yeah.
it was a lot. I had no idea though how common it was until I started talking about it with my therapist, and she helped me, push through it. But my God, it was crazy.
Those dreams are so scary. The dream that I would consistently have over and over again was with the babies. I'd be asleep and the babies would be laying on top of me in my dreams, and I'd just be there laying, muttering to myself, okay, I can't move because there's a baby on me. What if I crush the baby? I'm gonna crush the baby. And we never co-slept with them, and it's just this constant dream.
Yeah.
And then I would wake up screaming, and I'd be like, Dhruv, where's the baby? Where did Avi go? Where did Avi go?
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of, another really weird thing that happened to me a lot was like I'd wake up to phantom cries.
Oh, the phantom cries are so real.
I mean, honestly, that happened to me last night. I don't think that's happened. Like
I don't think
away.
the phantom cries don't go away. I hear phantom cries all the time.
Especially in the shower. Or when I'm like in a deep sleep.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'll be like, was that her?
Was that her? It's her.
Oh my God. And then
Yeah.
I check the Nanit and she's totally fine.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was constant. It was out of control.
It was really bad in the beginning. It gets a little bit better, but it like never really goes away. I think that was all
crazy.
all the weird stuff.
Yeah. So let's shift a little bit because while the changes can be really overwhelming, we are also learning to look at our bodies differently. It's the real bodies that we're in, right? And so I think it's important to look at ourselves not for what we look like, but what our body has done.
Hell yeah. So we're really just trying to appreciate, like, especially for me in the first 8 weeks, it was very much a mindset shift of, okay, yes, I look crazy right now and I'm super sweaty and wet, not in a good way. I had to constantly tell myself, holy shit, I just grew 20 toes, 20 fingers in my belly. Like, yes, there is nothing I can't do anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So like, it just really trying to shift your mindset and trying to see all the benefits. And for breastfeeding, a big thing was me trying to tell myself, oh my gosh, I'm creating milk literally from nothing to feed 2 babies. I was able to feed 2 babies
that's insane.
at my peak, which is
That's
so
insane.
cool.
That's so
but
insane.
again, it doesn't come easily, right? This is something I had to constantly be telling myself and appreciating my body for. And obviously, majority of the days, it was very negative self-talk. But
yeah, there was a lot of negative self-talk for me
Yeah.
too. I think the one thing I kept telling myself is that, okay, I grew and birthed a whole human.
yes, you did.
And even though I had an emergency C-section because I really struggled with like coming to terms with how I had Layla, my body didn't fail me. It saved us both. I kept saying that to myself constantly. And I think it did help me get through it. This is like, I remember my therapist really helped me through that too. But it was important to remember, like, I am strong. Like, I did not cup out. It was the best thing for both of us. She's healthy. I'm healthy. Here we are now.
And now, like, looking back at it, I feel like it was so hard to constantly keep telling myself that and trying to get through it. Because you just feel like you're sucked into this, like, warped zone of, like, you don't know who you are and you don't know where your old self is.
It's definitely tough, but it's the reality of what happens. But I do think there's a quiet power in being able to say, you know, I may not love who I am in the mirror right now, but I respect what my body's been through. And I think that's what we all need to spend time embracing. And that shift for me was really huge.
For sure. All right. So now we talked about the real, keeping shit real with ourselves.
And reminding ourselves of that, especially in the first 2 to 3 months. But it's important to do that now. Like literally,
Even-
right before this episode, I was telling Burby I'm going to a bachelorette party and I have to wear a bathing suit for the first time since baby. And I know I'm 9 months postpartum now, but I'm terrified. And I told her, I was like, I'm scared of my stretch marks and my C-section scar. But, you know, I think like it is who I am now.
It is you.
It's a battle wound, and I'm proud of being a mom, and I just need to like embrace it and own it.
She was literally just yelling from the bathroom, "Ugh, my stretch marks are still there."
Another reminder, like I look in the mirror and I need to just embrace who I am. I am strong, you know.
Yeah.
I'm still hot as shit, so.
Yeah, you are a hot mom.
Yeah.
This is hot mom time. MILFs.
Okay. For our third section, the beautiful, right?
Yes.
And moving towards that, let's talk about how we started feeling human again and started accepting the beauty of being a new mom in that postpartum time. Again, like the first 3 months.
I honestly had I said this in the last episode. I feel like I was a robot and I had no bandwidth to feel human again, frankly. So it was a lot of it was was trying to get a little bit more sleep. And that was the basics.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe trying to take a shower. And another big piece of trying to feel human, and huge shout out to my two moms that were there during postpartum. Holy shit. They are the ones that honestly helped me feel human again.
That's great.
There's no way I could have done it without them. They were the ones cooking me food and making sure I was eating, because I also was not eating.
Yeah.
And I was acting crazy. And
yeah. I mean, when do you have time for it? I remember.
When do you have time to eat?
Please
tell me.
I was not eating unless my husband fed me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He brought my food upstairs. He would make sure I'd eat, and sometimes he would just sit next to me to watch me eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have two babies. I was just like, you get so engrossed in being there for your baby, feeding her, holding her, doing all these things. Like you just kind of get possessed.
You get really possessed. So,
but there's a beauty in that too.
There is a beauty in that.
Maternal instincts kick in, and you're like, where did this come from? Who am I? But like, it is pretty crazy. And it's important to take those moments to like enjoy and have it for yourself, right? So you have that good food.
Yeah.
And your moms.
Exactly.
I think for me, I would say it was just like being outside in the sunshine, because for us, we got home and I remember she was born in early July. And for those of you who are familiar with the Pacific Northwest, it doesn't become consistently sunny until late June or mid-June, like after June gloom ends. And so the moment I had Layla, the sun was out every single day. And I was like really, really sad because I was stuck inside the house. Couldn't walk.
Yeah.
And so my husband like actually set up a little deck for me in the upstairs in my room. Because we had a little patio area, but we never used it. And so he would like encourage me to go sit outside on the couch for like 15 minutes every day at least, and make sure I would get sunshine, and he would make a cup of coffee for me.
I love that.
I always need coffee. Like that was always the situation. I always had paranoia around coffee though, with like lactation and the caffeine.
Yeah.
But so I would have it in small doses, but it was like coffee, sunshine, and then eventually being able to like take a short walk in my cul-de-sac and things like that. That brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah. I would definitely say the walks after maybe like the first month, walks definitely helped quite a bit. And I loved baby wearing. Like you said, you would wear Layla. I would wrap one of the babies and put another baby in the stroller.
Well, I was super paranoid about the carrier until I got my C-section check.
Because
I was nervous
because you were scared it was going to touch it. Yeah.
So once I got that I was like, okay, the decision's fine and there's no issue. Then I was like very comfortable. So just being outside, being able to do things and move around.
Yeah,
even
that was
like
nice.
Light yoga, I think you recommended to me too, and so that was helpful. And eventually, like low impact Peloton rides.
Right.
So
I loved the Peloton after we got cleared to work out. That's 6 weeks, or something like that. 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. 8 weeks. But that definitely helped keep my sanity. I remember the first time I hopped onto the Peloton, I literally had Drew like take pictures of me, and like I was holding a baby and I'd like held the baby while I was like sitting on the bike. Yeah.
Some of my fondest memories are, I remember when she was like only 4 to 6 months postpartum, and I would FaceTime you and we would actually do FaceTime Peloton rides together. And those are the things I know. God,
that.
I would always check on Borby because at this point I was not a mom yet and I didn't know what it was feeling like, but I do know she would tell me how she didn't feel like herself. And something to know about Borby was she's a spin instructor, so I would really push her to do a Peloton ride with me while FaceTiming. And so we would just like talk and it would be a low impact ride for her. And I was pregnant. So I was also like
doing,
low impact. And I was completely out of breath because I was so pregnant. And I remember this. And she was actually much better than me. But it was cool. I was so inspired to see her post baby.
Oh my gosh.
Because I saw her like doing it with me at like 4 months, 6 months, 10 months, then 1 year. And then I had a baby.
Yeah.
So that was really inspiring to see while pregnant. And then eventually I did that when I was postpartum.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool to do together.
Oh, that's so fun. I completely forgot we did that. That was really nice. And like huge shout out to Karen for checking in on me at like those marks. Cause around that time it was I was definitely starting to like not really talk to friends. Like I'm already really bad at texting back. I was never texting anybody back. It was very much like,
oh yeah,
I'm in my like zone and I'm not going to talk to anybody for that next year.
I would just call her. Like I was like, you're not
exactly.
texting back, so I'm just going to call you, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I appreciate that.
I would text her husband,
who
would reply, but it's okay. They're different people. But eventually I realized the only way to connect with her is that she wants to prioritize like working out, but she doesn't make time and energy and space for it. And so like if I could combine both,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we did that at least every 2 months.
We did. That was really nice.
It was cool though to see from like you postpartum to then me pregnant
and
to then
the
me postpartum. It's wild.
That was nice.
But in general, I would say FaceTiming also saved me because in those first 2 months, you're not really leaving the house. You're not inviting people over. And so FaceTiming my best friend, like Pelotoning with you, it all was godsend. And so highly recommend in terms of like embracing your body and like embracing the moment of life you're in, relying on your village of friends, family, whether they're near you or even distant. There's so much technology now that we can use to like really
for sure
and like get through these tough periods.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
last thing,
the last few things, right? Like literal hygiene, I feel like is what it's important to sort of just embrace too. I remember I hated taking showers, but then Borby came to visit here for like a hot minute. Yeah. When I was 10 weeks.
When Layla was just born, because we saw Layla from a distance.
It was like 9 or 10 weeks postpartum. And I was able to walk. She got me these shower bombs, like scented shower bombs. And,
yes.
And it was the most godsend thing ever because I hated showering. I like hated looking at myself in the mirror and I like was still nervous about the incision, but she got me this and I tried it and it made me feel like I was in the spa. And it also allowed me to embrace eventually like this is the reality, this is who I am. It made my showers better. I looked forward to them. I started showering a lot more.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad I encourage you to shower more. That's great. But yes, that is a great tip to get a postpartum mom. Just a little shower bomb. She is not doing baths, so do not get a bath bomb. We don't got time for baths.
No, but you can't even do that with your
incision. You can't do that with an incision either. Yeah.
Or even if you had a vaginal birth, that stuff is like you don't want to mess around with it.
Yeah.
No baths.
So get a shower bomb. It's so nice. You drop it in.
You put it on a little drain and the water hits it and it just makes the whole bathroom smell wonderful.
Just great.
Just amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually going to get that for one of my friends who's expecting.
You should. You got it for me. It was amazing. Okay, but to wrap up, like, the real and now the beautiful, I think what's important to know is that this season isn't about hot girl summer.
No. It's about hot mom summer. Hell yeah.
Hot mom summer. Okay, real talk though, I think hot mom summer is this summer, aka for me, like,
yes, it is for you. It's here.
I'm 9 months postpartum, summer starting. I think this is my hot mom summer. Everyone, I'm gonna get it this summer.
She's gonna get it.
There's a beer in this coffee mug.
There's a beer in the coffee mug,
because it is hot mom summer.
It's hot mom summer, and guess what time it is? It is 1 p.m.
because it's hot mom summer. Yeah. But let me tell you, last summer was not hot mom summer. Okay, last summer
was grieving mom summer.
I mean. Okay, fine. And you're basically transitioning us to our last section.
Exactly.
Here.
I'm trying to push
this.
It was
grieving, pre-baby mom summer, where we were just in transition. Or I was. I know you're in, but you were helping me go through it. You would transition from being pre-baby self, where you had all this independence, to new mom, and I felt like I really struggled. And again, it's not about getting your body back months after having a baby. Instead, it's about reclaiming pieces of yourself. And it's
Damn right.
about doing that gently and slowly with zero pressure to bounce back immediately. I think though now this summer, I'm like really focused on that, my health, my well-being, my ability to like go out and socialize and like have a life with my daughter in the world rather than like just recovering, right? So
Yeah.
it's really exciting to look forward to that.
It's so cool going through all these different phases of motherhood. You go through so many of them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you were like grieving your old self before. It was just like, oh my gosh, how am I going to incorporate my new life into my old life? But now you're like really owning it.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about this whole
Yeah.
grieving your old self. It's this idea, or the more so the emotional toll of feeling disconnected from who you used to be, right? Before baby, we all had our independent lives. We would, go to brunch, go to workout classes, not have to ask our husbands to watch the child at some point, or not figure out childcare for every time you want to leave the house.
Literally gallivant around town, right?
Yeah. And so now it's like you look in the mirror and first of all, you can't recognize yourself emotionally and physically. And then secondly, like you literally have this thing that's attached to you and needs you at all
the
times.
time. Yeah. You are 100% responsible for keeping this being alive, right?
Yeah.
So how do you balance that?
Yeah.
This old version of yourself versus this new version of yourself.
I think for me, it's I miss the freedom and I miss the energy and I miss that old confidence I had because like the way I looked and the way I felt, right?
Yeah.
But we talked about this just recently. It's not like I want my old life back. It was in that time period, though, I just didn't know what version of myself I was. And it took me time to get there. There was like a transition required and it takes time. And those first 3 to 6 months are it's just complete garbage. Like you're just like, you're lost, right?
You're lost. And we talked about this, like even in the social episode with our friends, like you don't know how to be friends with your old friends that aren't moms. And like, it's weird.
Yeah.
You go through a transition phase.
Yeah. And you look at your baby and you're like, obviously I love you.
Yeah.
But you also miss the woman you were before.
Exactly.
And that's okay. And that's totally normal. Like transition is required in
It is.
anything new.
It
right?
is.
New house, new car, new partner, whatever.
Yeah.
New dog, a new baby. Of course, transition is required.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
A big transition for me was actually not just like me becoming a mom, but also just living with my in-laws and figuring out that whole dynamic of raising your kids also with your in-laws there, them being there full time, right? So it took a lot of soul searching for me. That's why the first year for me was pretty hard, right? Like, how do I balance in-laws? How do I balance baby? How do I balance Thruv? And then how do I find my old self again?
Yeah.
But I will say now that I'm almost 2 years out, I feel like I love this new version of me who's more family oriented. I think there was a time and place for the old me pre-babies. But now I'm just like, no, this me is much cooler. Puri 2.0, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We out here.
It's actually been so much fun to have Purvi here with the boys and they're mobile and they're running around and they're like playing in dirt. And like me with a baby that's not mobile, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much. But she's thriving. She's like all for it. It's so exciting to see.
It's so fun.
It's a great transition. Like, I don't know. I think, overall, it's really important to remember you're not gone. You're just evolving, and we are all learning to blend our old selves with our new lives, whether it's with in-laws or whether it's like, with friend support or parent support in any way you have. It's all a new identity. It's all a new life. So it's, if no one's told you lately, the old you is still there, but it's just a different chapter.
It's just a different chapter, and it's just an elevated version of you, right? Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for
permission to glow.
Hey. Okay, I'll go first.
Yes, go.
Because I just got back from vacation.
Oh, I know where you went.
My husband and Layla and I, we went to Moab in Utah, and it was an experience.
Yeah. How? Please tell us. How was it?
Well, oh, but it's so embarrassing.
Guys, I judged her for this.
I gave myself a concussion because of my own car trunk. It was like coming down and I slammed my head in it. Anyways, I didn't think it was a big deal until I started getting super dizzy and like couldn't look at any lights and couldn't watch any TV or like look at my phone without wanting to throw up. So for about like, I would say for sure 7 to 8 days, I could not look at light, could not look at screens, could not do anything without wanting to throw up. And I was like struggling to walk straight, but it's fine. And Eventually, though, like things got better. Here I am now, what, 2.5 weeks out.
Still slightly concussed.
In the sense that my like it's words are interesting in my head.
You've been doing pretty good in this
I think so,
podcast,
I
though.
think so, I think
No,
so.
I'm pretty impressed.
So I think I'm in a better spot now. But the first week was rough, but that was the whole week I was in Moab. So in general, my husband went and went ahead for all the hiking.
Yeah.
And I hung out with Layla and it was cute. But we also just drove everywhere. We saw canyons, we saw arches. It was so much fun. It was good quality time. The irony is it was snowing there, but we're learning. I'm learning.
You made the best of it.
Yeah, I try. It was funny because in the moment I was like, oh my God, I just got laid off. This is a vacation I was looking forward to. And of course I'm concussed and now it's snowing. But my husband is really optimistic. And so
Yeah,
that was
He's
really,
super positive.
really helpful because I just feel like I've been in a funk. So it was really good overall. It was needed for me. So maybe not a permission to glow, but more so like I was pushed to glow.
Yeah.
Like I was forced into it.
A force to glow.
Yeah, forced to glow. Definitely not. There was no permission here. It was a forcing factor. It happens, and here we are now. But it was a lot of fun.
All right, my permission to glow is going to be a weird one because we talked about the weird shit that happens to your body postpartum.
Yeah.
So I did not allude to this earlier, but so the night sweats, 2 years out, I still get them.
No.
Yes, I still get them. And it's not night sweats, it's day sweats. I go through waves of just like, during menopause, you apparently get hot flashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like menopausal now or something.
Because premenopausal,
I don't know.
whatever it's called.
Yeah. So like I have this picture of me. I think you've seen it, Karen, and it's me wearing sweatpants, and my sweatpants are literally wet.
Yeah.
From just my
Like 6 to 8 months after babies.
Oh no, but that still happens. I'm just referring to that picture so you get a visual of like what it looks like.
Yeah, the visual, let me tell you, she's not being clear with this, okay?
Yeah.
She was changing a diaper and the whole backside of her legs were just like soaking wet.
Just dripping wet. It's gray sweatpants, so you can see all the Yeah. So that's my permission to glow. I'm glowing with my sweat. Don't judge me.
Physically glowing.
Yeah.
With
physically.
the sweat. It's literal glow.
Yes.
Well, okay. On that note, some parting words here to every mom out there wondering if postpartum stuff is normal. Yes, it is. The weird, the real, the beautiful. It's all part of the process, and you are not alone. So I think it's important to give your body grace, thank it, rest it, nourish it.
Nourish that body. Your body is your temple.
Your body's been through a war.
Yeah, literally.
Like a legit battle. And it's still here. It survived, and so are you.
Yeah. So thank you for coming to the hardest job ever. Please like, follow, subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Okay. That was good. That was 30 minutes.
No, I see. I think what's different was that one we stuck too much.